Hey everybody, I have a video here for you today, and my two videos yesterday obviously were on the passing of John Anthony West. But I just feel an obligation of mine is just to pay him back for all the laughter and wisdom he brought to me, in how many ways, and how many levels to look at ancient Egypt. But what I'm going to do today is I'm going to read the introduction to Serpent in the Sky. Because I know I mentioned that book, and people might wonder, Serpent in the Sky, what is that all about? Well, I'm going to read here and give you guys a little kickstart. Maybe just a few of you even will read this book. But you can't find any better book as far as how to look at ancient Egypt. And sometimes the most important videos aren't telling you what to think, but how to think. And this book certainly reshaped my whole view of ancient Egypt, and I had to just throw out every thought process related to the modern world. But here we go. Serpent in the Sky presents a revolutionary, exhaustively documented reinterpretation of the civilization of ancient Egypt. It is a study of the life work of the philosopher, Orientalist, and mathematician, the late R.A. Schwaller-de-Lubitz. After 2 decades of study, mainly on the site at the Temple of Man, Schwaller-de-Lubitz was able to prove all that is accepted as dogma concerning Egypt is wrong or hopelessly inadequate. His work overthrows or undermines virtually every currently cherished belief regarding man's history and the evolution of civilization. Egyptian science, medicine, mathematics, and astronomy were all of an exponentially higher order of refinement and sophistication than modern scholars will acknowledge. The whole of Egyptian civilization was based upon a complete and precise understanding of universal laws, and this profound understanding manifested itself in a consistent, coherent, and interrelated system that fused science, art, and religion into a single organic unity. In other words, it was exactly the opposite of what we find in the world today. Moreover, every aspect of Egyptian knowledge seems to have been complete at the very beginning. The sciences, artistic and architectural techniques, and hieroglyphic system show virtually no signs of a period of development. Indeed, many of the achievements of the earliest dynasties were never surpassed, or even equaled later on. This astonishing fact is readily admitted by orthodox Egyptologists, but the magnitude of this mystery it poses is skillfully understated, while its many implications go unmentioned. How does a complex civilization spring full-blown into being? Look at a 1905 automobile and compare it to a modern one. There is no mistaking the process of development, but in Egypt there are no parallels. Everything is right at the start. The answer to the mystery is, of course, obvious, but because it is repellent to the prevailing cast of modern thinking, it is seldom seriously considered. Egyptian civilization was not a development, it was a legacy. Following an observation made by Schwaller-de-Lubitz, it is now possible virtually to prove the existence of another and perhaps greater civilization antedating dynastic Egypt and all other known civilization by millennia. In other words, it is now possible to prove Atlantis and simultaneously the historical reality of the biblical flood. I used inverted commas around Atlantis. He says it is not the physical location that is at issue here, but rather the existence of a civilization sufficiently sophisticated and sufficiently ancient to give rise to the legend. Proof of the existence of Atlantis rests upon a simple geological foundation. Questions of chronology and cause remain unanswered, and it is still impossible to say how the wisdom of Atlantis was preserved and handed down, or by whom, but its existence is now as difficult to deny as the completeness and coherence of the Egyptian knowledge at its inception. And here is some pics in the book. And I'm just going to read a little bit more. It says, "Therefore, it is probably safe to say that in providing this first true picture of ancient Egypt, Schwaller-de-Lubitz has provided the key to the study of the wisdom of the earlier Atlantis with the comma marks." And he has a lot of really funny statements in his book, and that's one reason why I really enjoyed reading this, and especially the one of Zahi Hawass and Mark Lehner and the Edgar Cayce Foundation and the Strange Bedfellows. I really enjoyed that little article, and I think I used that in a previous video. It says, "Since I am presenting another man's idea and work, it is inescapable that these must first pass through the filter of my own understanding, in certain cases perhaps in an altered light, because Schwaller-de-Lubitz's work is meticulously developed and always supported by a wealth of documentary illustration and detail. It is impossible to summarize it or even to extract from it, and I have often made use of analogy or metaphor in an attempt to capture the essence of the work without misrepresenting it. To avoid confusion, and also to avoid the clumsy of repeating, distinguishing between pure Schwaller-de-Lubitz ideas and my own illustrations, opinions, and conclusions, it is well to make a general distinction here at the beginning. As a rule, when I write of the knowledge, understanding, language, philosophy, and religion of the ancient Egyptians, I am presenting Schwaller-de-Lubitz's ideas in as pure a form as I can, and whenever possible, illustrating with his own diagrams and photos." I think I might get through this in one take. "Whenever I make use of a metaphor and analogy, I am exercising journalistic license. Schwaller-de-Lubitz might or might not approve of my method. There is no way to know." And that is just a little bit of the introduction to John Anthony West's Serpent in the Sky. And I have gotten through this in one take. Should I go on a little bit? I think I'm going to call it a day right there, but that'll give you a little clue to the book, Serpent in the Sky. Here it is right here. And, man, I just wanted to share this information with you. It's a great book. That'll give you a little clue what's in it. And the text I used yesterday in my video that I read from the pyramid text was meant for a king, a pharaoh. But Mr. West, not only were you a pioneer, but you were also the king of ancient Egypt history for a lot of people. So I thought that was fitting. But I just wanted to read Serpent in the Sky, a little bit from the introduction. I did it in one take. I'm slightly amazed. My computer is cooperating with me. Just wanted to share, and you all have a very nice day.